breaks occasionally because of, I'm old and I know I needed to take a break, but how late do they work? Is it till 4?
They're usually here till 4, quarter after 4.
Okay.
To be honest with you, Brent, our guys work very hard, as you said. It's very hot. I've had guys who've been with Junior and me for a long time, and we do a lot of large properties similar to this and larger, and we really have a good crew. And yeah, they do need to take breaks. They need to take water breaks and rest, because I don't know how many of you all have a landscape background, but landscaping in Florida is brutal.
Yep.
I mean, it's tough. Our guys work hard. Do they miss stuff? Absolutely. Like I said, let us know. We'll come back and fix it. But I wanted to say something about the young lady who was speaking before, is that
No worries.
that we have not portrayed what we said we were going to do. And I respectfully disagree, because we told the board what the contract was. Things would be missed. People would not always be happy with how we do things, because they're used to somebody else doing it. And it's just kind of like a learning process on both of our sides. And again, we've only been here 6 months. We haven't even made it through a whole summer. So my suggestion would be, let's do another meeting, 3 to 6 months, Brenda. Like that.
And they have to do it every week.
I'm sorry.
Things will look a little different after doing it every week.
Right, yeah, we're back doing it weekly now.
Right.
I did want Cal to also talk about cutting heights, because we'll get some complaints. My grass doesn't look like it's been cut. So Cal, can you talk about that real quick?
Yeah, so when we're cutting the turf, we're cutting for the desirable turf species. So your Bahia and St. Augustine, we're cutting at, I believe it's 4 inches right now, which is recommended. The issue is if you've got common Bermuda, Bermuda is going to be better mowed lower, so it's not going to look as attractive at 4 inches. And then if you've got a mixed turf of Bermuda, St. Augustine, Bahia, after we mow, it's going to look crisp, everything's going to look the same height, but then each one of those different species is going to grow at a different rate. And especially coming up on summer, when we start getting the rainfall, St. Augustine's going to grow half an inch a day or more. So you're going to have St. Augustine shooting up above the Bahia. You're going to start getting the Bahia seed heads. So within a couple of days after us mowing in those mixed turf yards, you're going to see it's going to look like we didn't mow after just a couple of days. But we are mowing consistently at the 4 inches, and that's because that is where we're going to keep the St. Augustine and Bahia, those 2 desirable species, the most healthy. It's the best mowing height for them.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
It's all right. I'm speaking on behalf of my neighbor, 188 Ann Milne. She has so many patches that have been missed, and I know you've spoke that, well, we come back. I know she's gone to the office. I know people have come looked at it. I have so many time-stamped pictures. This isn't just edging and trimmed and, oh, you missed 6 inches. This is more than the width of a mower, as if they just didn't even do that side. She's had broken sprinklers, not addressed, not fixed, although 3 of us together have learned to do it this year. Some of the sprinklers are on a side that has the blue flags. Week after week, well, every other week, they would still enter past the flags, and a neighbor would have to say, no, 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 not here. She has the tall grass, and I have pictures. It's over her knees if you hold it up. Hasn't been done. Not just a little corner at all. The tire gouges, like people have said. Grass that skipped. You say you've been here only 6 months. That's been maybe a dozen times. I would think that people are getting into a routine. 6 months in other parts of the country, that's the entire season. And you would think that you would have learned or whatever. You say you come back for blowing or trimming and all. You're not. The guy is maybe not. Someone had suggested earlier that perhaps because the houses around her are not by your company, maybe she's being overlooked. I just don't feel, with all the times that my neighbor has addressed the situation, taken pictures, had people look, reported to you, reported to Brenda, it's still just not done. And it just seems that with all these complaints, with all these issues, that to just keep brushing it off and, well, it's only been 6 months, just seems that, there could be more to it. Also, just to note, you take a lunch break, maybe down at our hammock, and I've picked up garbage. I was down there, I watched you leave garbage. So if they could just pick the garbage up, we have trash cans down there.
Okay, thank you. What was your address on that, ma'am?
It's one,
Okay.
I've written down all of them here for
Okay.
you.
And one thing I wanted to add on the 6 months, this is a very large property. Landscaping is changing constantly, especially with this weather. Of course, we have a routine down, but again, you just don't learn a property in 6 months. The first year is a learning process in a property this big. Second year, you're kind of perfecting it, and the third year, you're improving things. Are we hearing the complaints today? Absolutely, and we're going to continue to address them. But again, I just wanted to make sure the board and the residents know that we are commercial landscapers. We do try and cut everybody the same way. We trim everybody the same way. And I think sometimes some residents like it a certain way, or they're used to a certain way, and it's just not like the service you're used to, Brenda. If I'm incorrect, please let me know. I mean, I think the service before you, I don't know if you were doing it or who you had doing it, but people would spend extra more time, absolutely. Sure. And so we can do that. We can bring in 10 to 15 extra guys, but we can do that. But again, the price goes up, and we're trying to give you the best value you can. Okay? Yes.
373 Hawkeye Lane with my wife Gladys.
What's your first name? Dave?
What?
What's your first name?
Dwayne.
Dwayne, thank you.
Now you threw me off.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, this is to the board. And I know this is kind of your baby, Brenda, so you're pretty
It's okay.
defensive.
It's all right.
So, anyway, we come and listen to these guys when they first started. They sounded very professional. And to be honest with you, I haven't seen any professionalism. Now, after 1 year, supposedly the board decides whether or not to renew the contract. There's a lot of people that aren't happy. I know of a lot of people who want out. And I hope that you at least have the decency of giving that option to get out without something that we aren't happy with. And be open-minded about it when it comes to the people of the park. I don't really care about these guys that come in and soft soap everything and sound professional, and they aren't.
It is a conversation that the board is having.
Melody Jones, 450 Sycamore. I don't have a complaint, I just have a suggestion. We're one of the houses that the first day had a big hole in our skirting. It was big. And being the neurotic person that I was, nobody came up to us or told us there was, and I unfortunately had vision of critters coming under my house, so we went to Lowe's, got a piece, fixed it. 6 o'clock that night, somebody knocks on the door and says what they had done, and they were there to fix it. Well, we had already done it. What bothers me is the communication. I understand that a majority don't speak English. Knocking on the door, I did that. It doesn't take a lot. There are some broken things being done. When we were talking about the foreman, you did say the foreman speaks English, right?
I'm sorry, say that.
Your foreman speaks
Foreman
English.
speaks English.
Yes.
So that communication could have been done to us. I mean, the guy took pictures, took it back to somebody because he had better pictures of the damage he had done than I did. I don't understand why it's up to us. First of all, our office closes before you guys finish. So when there's something broken or something done, I think that could be a job of the foreman. I don't need 10 more guys. I just need some communication. When we're breaking something, when we're doing something, you don't want us to approach them, but why aren't they approaching us if they know they're doing something wrong? Or maybe the foreman, I know a common complaint is how they spray everything up against the house with whoever's blowing. the foreman should be showing the guy that's not what you want to do. I mean, we've sat on our patio before having it come in at us when they're blowing. Why isn't the foreman showing them the right way to do it? I mean, I don't have complaints because I am trying to be patient, but my suggestion is the communication is really not very good amongst your group. I just feel like maybe if that could be improved, it would take a lot less trips up to the office, and it would be a lot less anxiety and anger that some of the people are displaying. So that's just a suggestion that maybe your foreman or your guys could communicate better amongst themselves.
Okay, thank you.
Jim Englehart, 429 Golden Lane with my wife, Marcia. Brenda, you are a go-between between the board and Brightview.
Myself, yep.
Yep. How would you prefer we communicate with you? I heard some say, well, I went down to the office and talked to them, and I called in by phone. Would you prefer like text or emails, or are you happy with this? I went to the office and complained.
So either way, the best way to do it is either to email myself or Dulce or the president or vice president, because Dulce makes a list of everything. She records everything that's being done. If it's something that we can take care of right away, then we email or forward the email to Ted and Junior. Email is really the best way because that's how they prefer.
Okay.
So emailing is the best. But if it's something that is immediate that needs to happen, you could always call the office and tell Dulce or myself.
Yeah.
And we can then text them right away so that they could address it immediately.
Yeah, well, it bothered me. Anybody, you call the officer, go down there and complain, and they're busy, they got other things on their mind, and, you know,
Right.
how can they relay a complaint like that? So I guess I'm telling people here, if you have a complaint, probably email is the best way to send it in. Then there's a record of it, and
Right.
you can put your complaint in the email then.
Right, and then we
Okay,
can forward
thanks.
it. Mhm.
Thanks.
Kim Michael Schulte, 2 Bluegrass. Most of what I've got to say has already been said, but with my yard, it was Bahia when I moved in. It's still Bahia, unfortunately. If I could afford to do something different, I would. However, I was told before y'all started that Bahia yards would not be sprayed. After the first email came out that said you were spraying, I responded and said, please don't spray my yard. They didn't. This time, another email came out that said you were spraying. I didn't respond because I thought, once done, done. They sprayed. I now have almost, I have a dead yard for the most part. What are your recommendations, short of take it all up and sod it, which I can't afford to do, to get grass in my yard now?
I mean, yeah, obviously I think we need to take a look at how much Bahia is left there. So did you guys get the address?
2
Yep.
Bluegrass.
I have it.
You've got it. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so we'll take a look. Seeding with Bahia, maybe an option. That would be something that we'd probably want to target when we get a little bit closer to rainy season, so we get more consistent rainfall. We're not relying entirely on irrigation, but short of resodding, attempting some Bahia seed may be the best option there.
And the other, like I said, has been addressed a lot, but the pruning, when they prune, the clippings are just left and they're still there. The weeding in my landscaping rock has not been addressed. It's weeds all over the place. I mean, green weeds, not even brown weeds. I've put a flag by every sprinkler head just to keep y'all away from it, but now obviously that's creating an uneven event. They do use the weed whacker around the landscaping, and so it's very scalped for about 6, 8, 12 inches away from the landscaping, and then the yard doesn't appear that it's been mowed because of the difference in that. Is there any recourse to correct the height mismatching?
Well, after we mow, then the weed usually weed eats to whatever the grass doesn't get. I mean, we'd have to look at your particular
I'd welcome you to come out and look at my yard.
Yeah.
Donna Stapleton at 602 Oak Trail. First of all, I want to thank you for coming out because I know you probably knew you'd have lots of complaints and
Sure.
have to listen to them. And first of all, one comment you have made 2 or 3 times since you've been up here, you have said, we're only paying $55, and it's kind of like, well, what do you expect for $55? That's the way it's coming across to me, but this is what we were presented with, and when you were here before, it sounded like it was going to be very professional, everything was going to be wonderful the way you presented it. We didn't make the $55 price, that was what was given to us, and that's great. It was wonderful, everybody loved it. We have lived here for 15 years, and my husband has always done our own yard, but we decided the way you presented it, we would take advantage of it, and I guess you could say we've never been more disappointed in our life. We always had a beautiful yard, didn't have weeds, nothing. Everything was manicured. Since you have taken over our yard, you don't weed it, you mow around, you can't get around our air conditioners, our boxes and things in the backyard, but you never come trim. We have grass a foot high a lot of times back there because they never trim. He asked them to trim and they said, no, we don't do that. That's what he was told. And your workers mow so fast that I don't know how your blades cut the grass. We're lucky if they're at our house 3 minutes. They weed around so fast, the guy will come, go down the side of our driveway, maybe the front by the road. That's all he does. He does not go around the house. They come back and he'll blow down one side of the driveway, that's it. Our landscaping is full of grass. When they do mow, I don't know how they turn it, but weed eating, my husband talked to you when you first came the first time. We've always had a company come in and do our fertilizing, weeding, and our yard has been beautiful. We didn't really have a lot of weeds. It was kept up. And you told him that he was having it done too much, that they don't need to do it that much, that you did it on such and such schedule. Our yard now is the worst I've ever seen it. Our grass is dying. We're going to have our whole front yard probably resodded. We have gouges in it, like people said before, the way they turn the wheels so fast. You've broken sprinklers. We have the little circles around them. The sprinklers are buried. When they come mow, our little, I can't remember what they call them, but they're always standing up on their sides because they hit them. You've broken several sprinklers. You've put holes in our siding. You've dented other siding. And, I mean, the weeds are terrible in our yard. We're going to go probably back to the other company and pay out extra money again because our yard's a disaster. I don't know what to say. We're very disappointed in the service that we have gotten. And I don't think, like other people said, 6 months. To me, that's a while to learn. We've been to the office. Brenda's been to our house several times. Carla's come down to our house several times. And we never hear from anybody else. All we hear, well, give them time, or we'll talk to them about it. But that's all we ever hear. We're just thoroughly disappointed with their service.
Well, a couple things, ma'am. As far as speaking of the $55, I'll bring that figure because when we were talking to the board about doing the contract, we gave them several different options. We wanted to give them the best value. So that's the value that the board and Brightview agreed on, which, again, is a very good price for all the services that we perform. I think you mentioned that you and your husband used to take care of your yard, correct?
Yes.
So if all I had was your yard, and unfortunately my wife passed away about 9 months ago, so she can't help me, but if all I had was your yard, we could keep it beautiful. But again, when you have 300 yards to do, it's not the same. I can't provide you with that same service that you would provide you and your husband on that yard. And as far as killing the grass, I mean, there's nothing that we spray or do or mow. Mowers don't kill grass. Nothing we spray will kill grass. If grass is dying, it's from either what, Cal, bugs, lack of irrigation. So, we'll look at your yard, obviously, but that's what I've been saying since we started. If you have an issue, call Brenda, she'll put it out, and we will redouble our efforts to check every yard and address any situation. But you can always take care of your yard better if you have a few yards or just your own yard, because you have more time, and again, everybody wants us to slow down, okay, and we can do that, but in order to keep you where you're contract-wise, we'd have to do something different.
That's not the way you presented yourself when you were here the first time. And it made it sound like our yards were going to be taken care of. And like I said, my husband went up and spoke to them about the weed eating and all that before he was going to cancel our other service. But you talk about the time, but I don't care how many customers you have, you should spend more than 3 minutes in a yard. I mean, we watch them, and I mean, our yard was always mowed before, and all it is big wide tire tracks, and like I said, we got patches where they've dug up the yard with their wheels. That's very unprofessional. I mean, they're going way too fast. They need to slow down. They need to take, a little more time to act like they care. You just can't get anybody to do anything. I'm sorry. And it's not like he was taking care of it. Yes, he put a little more care into it, but as a professional service and the way you presented yourself, it sounded like you were going to take care of the yards too, not tear them up, which is what's being done.
Corky Boyle on Pelican Lane. I got an idea. I know that we all have a problem in hiring people that 1 week they're there, the next week you got somebody else there. Pretty hard to train all these people as you continuously have a turnover problem. I'm sure it's very difficult for you all. And by the way, I want to thank you all for being here today.
Thank you.
To listen to our comments. I might tell you that I have not made one notion to anybody on any complaints that we've had on our yard this year. So it doesn't give us the opportunity to say something. The one thing that I believe that, in listening to all of you, is that one thing that could be very well help the matter is that at the end of the day, if someone called inspection could walk down the street and see if that yard got cut, that shouldn't have, or vice versa, and if that individual that just got hired yesterday is not doing the job that he's supposed to, or maybe he doesn't know what job he's supposed to do, such as trimming and so forth, we could very well easily take care of this. In my years of manufacturing, we always had an inspector somewhere. And you know what? We generally found that if you had 10 people working, there were a couple that didn't do a very good job, while the rest of them were doing a great job. Now, actually, what happens is that some people do not know, but they're going too fast. For example, I have a palm tree in my backyard. I have a nice level yard, but that palm tree goes down toward the water. As these people are mowing the lawn, they go very fast. They don't slow down a whole lot when they go around a palm tree. Your mower is like this. You cut high on one side, you cut low on the other side. Anybody that mows lawns knows that. Now, when these people go around there and you have this uneven grass, do they turn around and take a look and say, I might need to go through this again? That don't happen. as everyone has said, they're very much in a hurry going up and down. I'm trying to make a point. I think this inspection thing should be looked at.
All right, thank you.
The Judy Miller, I'm at 564 Hammock with my husband Duke. Thank you for coming and listening to us. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
The main one concern I'm having, and it's for safety as well as anything, we have St. Augustine grass, and as everyone knows, the shoots go out. Well, and I don't know if it's with the speed of the mower or what, but when they're done, if I go outside and walk around, there are ones that have curled, they're standing up, and you could trip in those very easily and fall. I have gone through and cut a lot of them, but it's all the time, and I'm concerned for the safety as much as anything. Thank you.
Ken McKellar, 347 Badger. Can you hear me now? Okay. Ken McKellar, 347 Badger Lane. I suspect that there's always going to be little problems and people who you're not going to make happy. But I, for one, have been very happy with your service and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, we're going to do 2 more comments, and then we're going to call it for the day. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Jerry Salmon, 283 Garden with my wife, Mary Ann.
Hi, Jerry.
How are you?
Good.
I was on the board when we brought Brightview in, and for the most part, they've done an excellent job. However, and this is where we get into the sticky stuff, the last 2 times out, I don't know whether you have a different crew or a different person or different people do multiple jobs, etc. But the damage the last 2 times out is not acceptable. And the trimming is horrible, quite frankly. Now I go back before that, and I watched the trimmer. This guy got it done. It was perfect. The blower came along, and he not only blew off the trimmings, he went on the carport, blew off the golf carts where the stuff had laid, and underneath the car. And this has been relatively common, but it seems to alternate. And that is my comment at that point is you've got some people on your crew who quite frankly don't care, and you've got others on your crew that are, you can't say enough about them. They care. They really care about what they do, and they care about their job. So for the most part, I continue to support you. I thank you guys for coming. But you need to take a look at some of the crew and whether or not their attitudes needs to be adjusted. And I don't mean with booze, I mean with a smack across the side of the head. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. But I just wanted to talk about, since Mike was here, I just wanted to talk about tree and palm pruning.
Yep.
And, what's that? Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Barbara Ricketts, can you hear me? 460 Sycamore Lane, and we want to say we're very happy with what is transpiring. We don't have to, is it echoing or is it just me? Okay. We don't have to worry when we go up north that I'm going to get the dreaded call that nobody's cutting the grass or what, weeds or whatever. Twice since we've lived in this park, we've had friends call and say, well, you know, your guy isn't cutting your grass anymore. one time, 2 brothers were doing it, and one of them died, and they just quit. And nobody, then all of a sudden we have a problem. So we're very happy. We do have the barrier around because you're not the first company that might have run into the side of the house. They edged the drive, and weed whacked the road, and we're very happy, so.
Barbara, what was your house number?
460 Sycamore Lane.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we're going to let the guys address some of the stuff, and we're going to call it after that.
And again, I know some of you are upset with some things, and I appreciate you letting us know. We do not take it lightly. We're going to meet this afternoon and discuss what improvements we can make. And Brenda, I do agree with you. We are going to have another supervisor checking in the afternoon, so hopefully that's going to help. And again, it's just the start of the summer, so let's see how things go the next few months and see if some of y'all might change your mind, and we're going to do whatever we can. We want to be out here for a long, long time, and so whatever we need to do or adjustments we need to make, I can assure you we will work on that. And all the complaints, were legitimate questions, and again, we appreciate it. I do want to have our arborist Mike is here today. And one thing I recommended to Brenda and the board is that with hurricane season and then in the fall, that in order to be very cost effective for you all, to do like any palm pruning or any oak tree pruning in May and then possibly again in October. Because if we have to send a crew out here just for one palm, it's tough to work on the price. But Mike said if we can get a whole list like in May, right before hurricane season, we can come out and do some work. Same thing maybe in October, early November before the holidays as well. So, Mike, can you talk on that a little bit? Or if anybody have any questions about tree really quick?
So we've come out, we've kind of done a couple one-off requests for homeowners. I've had, good responses, seem to be happy with the results. We do have a couple of different species of palms. The biggest thing we want to try to catch is the seed pods, because when they do fruit out, especially the queen palms, they get very jelly, they drop, they become food for animals, which brings them closer to the house. They also lead to ants when they start to rot in the bushes. So trying to catch those at the optimal time. The queen palms will fruit out 2 or 3 times a year, so there's really no optimal time. Some of you guys have sable palms, which tend to fruit out in the late summer, so if you get those once a year, then they can stay pretty clean. A couple of you have some really nice specimen palms. Those are starting to push their seeds out, and those dates that drop are very similar to the queen, so they'll make a mess down below and get, into the plant beds and make a mess. So as Ted said, if there's an inquiry that, some people want to put their names on a list, we'll be happy to come out, try to do our best on the unit pricing, and come out and do, a couple of days of service for whether it's just palm trees or the hardwoods to, get some stuff away from the roof line so they're not smacking up and down during the storms this summer or during any hurricanes, and then just general cleanup to help with nuisance of seeds and other, dead fronds falling off and hitting cars or just making a mess on the property.
So I guess I would suggest, and since we're recording this so that we can send it out to everybody, I just want to get it out there, that if you're interested in having something like that done, email me at secretary@lakeregionvillage.com so that I can put together a list that I can forward to them so that they could have a group of people. What would be the least amount that would probably, like 10?
Typically, yeah,
Okay.
10's a good number to keep the guys, especially, I know we could be scattered through the neighborhood, so, 10 would be good for a quick setup for, a couple hours to come out, the more the merrier to,
Right.
Try and help out with everybody and just make the property look nicer.
I know that some people are getting ready to go. The snowbirds are getting ready to go back. Some snowbirds have already left. So if they think that their trees need to be trimmed before the hurricane season starts, so just email and we'll put a list together. I think that's it. Do we have anything else? I want to appreciate you guys coming out and helping us, and hopefully now that we're in our season where we're going to do it every week, and the first 6 times you guys have come out, you've shown something, but hopefully the next 6 months will show us something else, and we'll get all of our problems addressed, and the summer will look really nice.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Guys, I'd like to thank you guys for coming out, and residents, I'd like to thank all of you for